Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your client's money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No one is paying attention.
It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?
Alright, so hi guys, welcome back to another video covering market profile and some of the trades that we are doing or going to do in the coming days, weeks, months, etc. So on this video, I'm going to walk you through what's happening to my positions right now. We did talk about that in the past video. We were quite a few pips up on most things anyway, so quite a few points and pips up on most things because I had a position in crude. I still have my cable position, as you guys would notice as we go through the course. As we go through the video, you'll be able to see how well I'm performing with that one, what my expectations are, and so on. So we will walk through everything on this video. So let's start with the Aussie dollar. Right, so my last couple of videos, if you haven't seen those, just go back in the video library and you should be able to see that right here on YouTube. So I covered the Aussie dollar because I was of the impression, so we talked about the I period print, which is now gone. So if I just split this rotation for a second, so we talked about the initiating sellers that sort of stepped in here, and my synopsis at the time was that if we could trade the I period print, we are going to go a lot higher, right? And that's kind of where we are now. So we've traded the I period print and then we're moving upwards. So I posted in my Discord, and you can get a link to that in the description below. So if you want free access to the Discord, then just join us there. It's all happy stuff, and you'll learn a lot. So the I period print, we traded off that one, sellers sitting there, and then we pushed back into it. So for me, it was an immediate long, and it was a good idea to stay long. We're now running into an offer stack, so I am expecting a rebound. However, the balance is forming against the week, so let's see how we do. We have a gap in value, so there's a lot going on here. I would say definitely if we could pull back. We're trading prior week highs at the moment. We've had a lot of historical resistance here for a few weeks, so the expectation is that even if we do push up a little bit, that offer stock should present some decent resistance and then we should pull back. So it becomes a very decent buy in the pullback. I wouldn't chase into these kind of trades, right? So this is important. So a couple of these techniques that you're going to learn is that you don't want to chase. So I certainly wouldn't recommend chasing. So again, if we do break the balance to the upside, then we're likely to get more continuation and this gap will stay relatively open for the week. But I'm expecting us to pull back, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for, because again, a nice little pullback into bid stack will allow me a good buy area, and then obviously we'll look at stocks below, value lows, etc. Crude oil is doing pretty well at the moment, so this is an asset in play at the moment, so this is something that we're already in. Not much we can do at this stage. We are doing quite well with it. We're on the long side, so I'm expecting that we are going to push a little bit higher. So very, very interesting stuff in my opinion when we think about crude oil. In terms of where we are with the S&P 500, this is something I want to be long in. Again, I'm waiting for that pullback actually, but the thing with the S&P, we might just get some big continuation, so I'm paying attention. We do have some resistance up here. In my opinion, the offer stack should hold us back and push us maybe a little bit lower. So again, like most of the asset, I'm looking for that retreat. Sometimes it takes patience, and we're trading what we call inside value. Now I won't go into too much detail. Again, if you guys want to know a lot more and you want to sort of build a lot of knowledge, then join the Discord channel initially. I'll definitely recommend checking out some of the courses that we got on this. And again, if you're interested in things like one-on-one tuition and so on, then yeah, something worth let us know for sure. Again, don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, that's what the Discord is there for. So again, I'm looking for a pullback. You know, we've had a lot of responsive buying at the lows, quite a few prints here. So it's a good level. I think what we won't want to see is the R&W pre-period print going. Not likely this week. When we look at historical volatility, any pullbacks into these lows become buying opportunities, in my opinion. Yes, we could drop way into this bid stack here, but not likely at this stage. So I guess it's a Monday, bank holiday in the UK. So again, I'm recording this over the bank holidays. So again, you know, it just doesn't make any sense trading in these periods where there is absent liquidity. So we are seeing some quietness within the European sessions, but I expect us to start seeing some movement into the US session since there is no bank holiday in the US. And then from there we can kind of see how we're going to trade with the SPY this week, or the S&P 500. So it's an interesting one. So again, it's on my radar, but I need to see lower prices. I don't want to chase this into a break because again, historically there's a lot going on here. That would mean long term we're definitely on the bullish side. A break will give us a lot of X to the upside, but you want to trade from a position where you want to be able to manage risk properly, because I think the issue is, and this is another technique that you can use as you learn to trade, is that think about where you are, trade location. I always say trade location, right? Think about where you are, where you're trading from. If I'm trading from here, I mean, how do I push in risk? This entire value area, as we know, has a high probability of being traded out. We've seen this week on and weekend, that, you know, the value areas get traded out. They tend to, right? So okay, we had this week here where we had some continuation, but the prior week, which was the good buy, again, that's where everyone should have been long. Of course, if we traded off the bid stack, so again, pulling back into here, if you're getting long, then you're trying to sit risk here. So either way, we were taking at least 25% of the value area, which made it make sense to be in this trade, right? So again, we have to have the ability to compare value, look at historical volatility and so on, right? So from where we are, we're trading inside value, and by that, like I said, I won't go into too much detail, but again, with inside value, we're expecting a lot of volatility, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. There is a tiny bid stack here. We know that based on the structure of this profile, that there was a lot of, this is a wick, right? So if you're looking at the candlestick, this is a wick, and it means there's been a lot of buy up, a lot of responsive activity. So again, if we can just get into the low liquidity area of this wick and retest the underside, then I definitely want to be long. I'm not going to anticipate a break to the downside. The only time I'll worry about that is if the WR period would go. Gold, again, similar picture. It is inside value. We spoke about this last week. I'm still relatively bullish on gold, but now we've opened inside value. Again, I wouldn't be so eager to jump in gold. I want to be able to see us settle. So we go from imbalance to balance. I think we have a bit of a test here as well. So we got some responsive sellers at S period. I want to see gold settle. And again, if we can settle and then start maybe breaking the downside, I'm looking to buy the dip, right? So again, because I'm still structurally bullish, and again, the important here is before we even jump into profiles is we need to be able to establish structure, right? So I know that we're in a long-term upside structure, the last one probably in gold, and even if we go lower, I'm expecting us to find a bid, and that's where I want to get involved, because I know that if we find a bid, then we're going to get some really strong upside movements to retest some key levels. Again, because of that, I'm not eager to take the short side, especially not in a week where we're inside value. Cable, obviously, I'm still in this position. As you can see, we're slightly weaker into the week. It is Monday, so we want to see where this balance goes. We do have a gap in value, so I'm expecting us to trade this gap and trade a dip. Again, when the currencies, you want to think about natural range, so I'm always thinking where's the good places to get involved. So again, I'm expecting us to pull a little bit lower, and I think as we drive into mid value, I'd look to maybe add to my existing position, right? Because again, structurally for me, cable is heading to the upside. So again, I just want to see that response. We've got a nice little bid stack here, so let's see if we pull back into this. If we keep going, great. I'm already in this position anyway, so I'm not hugely concerned. I'm just looking to where I can add into it. There's no other good positions I want to leg back into. So I'm just looking for now a pullback on cable so I can add to my original position. Again, dollar yen, we're inside value, very similar story to gold. Again, so there's going to be a lot of volatility in the yen for sure, and definitely gold, so it's probably worth sticking away from at this point. The best position here for the yen is to be on the long side. We have had that dip. We did talk about that last week, is that once we hit that bid stack, we got a print, we're closing higher. Again, slight retests, you know, it was a good position opening. Again, you can just be long from here, you know, from the open. So again, if you see the open, you just long from there and try and look at risk around these sort of levels. And then we're looking for a push to the upside. It's inside value, so the chances that we're going to break are also quite slim. So we're going to have to balance here, right? But you probably get some upside, and then you can start looking at behavior as we trade back in. But there's just not enough responsive activity for me at the top. So yeah, it makes sense just to kind of wait this one out and see. If we drop a little lower, it'd be really interesting, because then we have to start considering now natural range on dollar yen, because we'll be coming outside of the broader value. So then we start expecting a dip back in, and then we start looking for buying opportunities. Again, structurally, the dollar is bullish against the yen, right? So I'm looking for opportunities to get long these things as opposed to get short. Dollar CAD, we covered that position last week, so we don't have this. What I was hoping for is a rebound. I was hoping for a slight rebound, and I would have scaled back in, right, and then looked to apportion risk now at the highs. But we're not getting that, and this can happen, so we're trading lower. So again, if there is a bounce this week, I would assume that we would go for the gap. So I wouldn't look to short this until we fill this gap again, because I think we need to do that if we're going to get more downside. Structurally, I think there is a short-term bearish downside on dollar CAD, so I'd want to position against that. I want to be able to be short. But then long-term, as we trade out those lower levels, I think we're going to start to bounce again, right? Which means that we're going to look at a weaker Canadian coming down the line. But let's see how we continue to break lower. Again, I don't have this position again because I closed out. There was room to hold, but my concern was as we traded out value, we had a steep drop that week, and you could easily wake up into an early session and find a rebound. So it would just erode the cash flow of my position. So that's technique number 2, right? You don't want your position cash flow to get eroded. So if you need to take money off the table, do it, and then wait for a pullback, right? And then get back in if you wanted to, right? Because then you can maximize. Of course, you can also cut half your position. Right, so if you decided to cut half your position, then you're still going to be in this trade for some, but you've put some money on the table. So however you choose to manage your trades, that's kind of what you want to think about. And for me, it made sense to get out because I've got other positions running. So this was just a nice little scale out for me on dollar CAD. And then I'll wait for a rebound and I can reload that position, knowing that I'm also getting a more efficient price. But yes, I can't collect the rest of the alpha. Absolutely true. But that's just life. Can't do anything about it. So I've added a new asset to my chain, that's Bitcoin. Now what's really interesting about Bitcoin is that we're now selling off. We've got a bit of a build off here, we're breaking. So this is the balance phase, right? So we can see that shift in value. We've shifted up, value perceptions moved higher, and it's now balancing, and price is moving lower. So the value is generally higher. So for me, I'd like to buy the dip. Again, we're trading into a bid stack. We are struggling here. For some people, this is an opportunity, but with Bitcoin, you want to consider that natural range. So again, for me, you know, we could get further downside. If we're trading under the bid stack, then wait for a pullback, and then we might see some short plays. Because again, where we're positioning now is we are looking at perhaps dropping, and this becomes a good buying area. With Bitcoin, we could get that is 24,967. So that's what I'm looking at. So this could be the start of short-term bearishness. But let's see how the buyers react to the bid. Again, if we start to settle and build balances to the upside, then anticipate a further break, maybe into 32k. So Bitcoin is actually a really good buy if you're risque, and this is not financial advice, guys. If you are risque, then it's already a good opportunity, right? You know, you can have a lighter position, take a punt at this, and see if we start to break now. For me, I always prefer to wait for a reaction. If I split the profile here, I can look at this and say, well, there is definitely not enough volume trading into this level here to say that there are buyers screaming at this. So let's see how the week builds up. Let's see what happens across today, tomorrow, and then Bitcoin might drop on my radar as a potential position into. Sterling yen is breaking to the upside. Again, this was anticipated. We had a much bigger reaction. We didn't even get to fill the gap. We had a huge reaction, and then we were back up very quickly. So this is very similar to crude oil, but there is still a gap in value. So again, don't be surprised if we start to see sterling fall against the yen, so we get some yen strength. We're still inside value. Like I've always said, I'm always careful with these, but structurally the pound is bullish against the yen. So again, any dips would present opportunities to get long, especially filling the gap. So I would wait to see if we fill the gap and then see if we can get long again. It's a tough one, guys, but this is it. This is where the patience comes in. This is the decision making. And when we think about trading, it's not about just being in the positions or whatever, or just getting wins. It's about deciding how we want to allocate, and that's how we stop losing like a ton of money when we're trading. It's just patience. Like, you guys can see how I'm positioning. So awesome stuff, guys. I hope you like this video. Once again, if you have any questions, anything at all, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. But again, just leave any questions, comments, just leave them below, and I'll happily answer them. Beyond that, guys, join the Discord server if you want a lot more engagement, and then we can take it from there. But to my next video, guys, adios.
Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
Name of the game. Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your clients money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No.
No one is paying attention.
It's unbelievable.
Have to act now.
God, this is intimate. I feel like I'm financially inside of you or something.
Okay.
I have 5 houses and a condo.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?